Hey everybody, welcome back, and I apologize for partial head viewing here. Maybe that's an advantage to most, but in any event, another guitar. This is the second one and of 2023. I think on my last video when I said it was the first purchase, that was for the West Creek semi-hollow, I said 2022 in error, but this is the second guitar of 2023. First being the West Creek, and then this guy here, which is another Donner. So, why did I buy this one? Well, curiosity again, right? So, I bought the Donner, as you know from a previous video, Seeker Series Strat style guitar, HSS, and I reviewed that, and then I saw this one come up on Walmart for $119.99, including gig bag and accessories, and I said that sounds like a great deal. I'm just curious to see how this compares to the other guitar that is so, hyped up on YouTube reviews, which is the Designer Series. And let me start off also by saying I'm not sponsored, obviously. This is a small little gig that I've got going on here, so I do not get sponsored. Everything I buy and everything I review, I pay for. And therefore, I think, hopefully you'll agree, that my reviews are somewhat transparent and about as honest as I can get. I have no alliance to any manufacturers or allegiance to any manufacturers. So, with that being said, I want to talk about this guy and how I feel it compares to the other Donner model. So this one is the Donner DST. Let me just see 1 second, because I keep forgetting there's so many different models of Donner guitars. Yes, okay. Just had to check. I apologize. DST-200 is the model. The other one that I had was the DST-400. Then there's also a 152 and a 100. So the 100 series apparently does not have coil split capability, and it's a basic, HSS guitar, right? Then you've got the 152s that are also HSS but have coil split capability, and they have an enclosement or an enclosure on the humbucker pickup, the metal cover, right? Which some like. And also, I think a much better color offering for those guitars. Then you've got this guy, which is the DST-200. It comes simply in black or a shell pinkish type color. And then you have the highest end of the Strat style guitars currently, which is the DST-400. And let's compare. What I wanted to compare and see is how this guy, which is the 200 that I got for $119.99 off of Walmart, compares to the DST-400, if it's worth buying. Okay? So my honest comparison of the two guitars. I no longer have the DST-400. I had to trade that out or sell it in order to get this guy. Again, I'm not sponsored and I'm not rich. So in order for me to keep reviewing additional guitars, I'm reliant upon either trading them out or selling them to get something else. Okay, so this guy is a Strat style guitar. It's a Donner Designer Series, not the Seeker Series. This is the DST-200. And let's talk about this guy versus the DST-400, because I really haven't seen any good comparisons on YouTube. I was looking for that when I bought this. So hopefully this will be helpful. Now, this guy, which is the DST-200, interestingly enough, lists for more money currently on the Donner website than what is supposed to be the upgraded model, the DST-400. So you can get the DST-400 for $239.99. I think they have a 5% coupon. That's on the Donner website. Or you can get this guy for $242.99. So it's a couple of bucks more than the 400. But what are the differences? And this guitar is priced all over the map, right? You'll see it for $159.99 on eBay. You'll see it for $209 sometimes on Amazon. Again, the lowest I've ever seen this was $119.99, and I bought it, and that was off of Walmart. I think it's currently at that price. But in any event, the wood on this guitar is poplar. The wood on the DST-400 is alder. So that's an upgrade in terms of what most consider a better wood. Now, again, does wood make a difference to the novice, the hobbyist, the home player? Probably not. I find these two guitars weigh very similar to each other. And they're fairly heavy for a Strat style guitar. This guy probably weighs, I would guess, around 8.5 pounds, and I think the other one that I had, which was the older body, was around the same. So, wood, I'm not sure it really matters too much, right? There may be some that disagree with me, but again, I'm not sure really what that means. The only thing it might matter is the DST-400 is a transparent finish, so you can see the wood grain through it, and it is quite nice, especially on the green model, which is the one I had, Cypress Green. It also comes in black. These are solid, so you can't see the wood through the guitar, so I'm not sure if it really matters what's underneath here. The fretboard. This is Perilla, so it's not rosewood. It is Perilla wood, whatever that is, right? On the 400, it is Indian Laurel. Now, you do see Indian Laurel on more guitars, at least as a rosewood alternative, than I do see Perilla. A lot of the Fender Squiers, a lot of the Ibanez's, a lot of the other guitars have Indian Laurel fretboards. So that might be an advantage. I don't know. Doesn't feel any different to me. It's not grittier, or there's no noticeable difference in this fretboard versus the one that I had on the 400. So I'm going to say that's really not an advantage in my opinion so far. So far we're even. The tremolo system. This is a cheap, right? You could see it here, 6-point tremolo that you would get on any import guitar, low budget guitar. The tremolo arm that comes with this is your cheap screw-in arm, right? On the 400, you have a snap-in, which is a little bit of an upgraded feature on the tremolo bridge, and it also is a 2-point. Supposedly gives better intonation, better stability for the tremolo. That might be an advantage for the 400. I'm not a tremolo user, so it does not matter to me. The frets. On the DST-400, they're described as being medium jumbo. These are also described as being medium jumbo. I can tell you right now, they're not medium jumbo. These are thin frets, right? Again, I don't know if that matters to anybody, but I think it's a little bit misleading by Donner to say these are medium jumbo. They're not. The coil split is the same. It's a cheap, inexpensive coil split. However, it is by far easier to engage and disengage on this model, being the 200 versus the 400 that I had. As I mentioned in my description, it was very difficult to pull out and push in the coil split. On here, it is much easier. And that might be an advantage for a beginner, a child, somebody just learning to play the instrument. I'm going to give a nod to this model in that respect. The block for the tremolo on the DST-400, the Seeker series, the other guitar, has a thicker tremolo block, which is supposed to be an advantage, right? Most inexpensive guitars do not. This does not. This has a thin tremolo block inside the guitar. So the other one has a better, thicker block than this does. What else do we have to talk about? It's got a full-size block, the 400. The pickups, right? These are described by Donner as being designer series pickups, whereas the 400 has Seeker series, which are supposed to be some whoop-de-doo better pickups, right? They're supposed to be Alnico. Someone asked on one of the websites if these were Alnico. Donner said they are. I'm not sure if they are. To my ears, and again, I have amateur ears, they do not sound like vintage style pickups when I tested the guitar. They sound to me more like ceramics. But again, Donner is claiming they are Alnico. In any event, these are not high-end guitars. So if you're a player, you play out, you record, you're a serious player, you probably wouldn't have bought this in the first place if you are. But in any event, you're probably going to change the pickups anyway. So I don't really think there's any advantage to the Seeker series versus this, quite honestly, in terms of pickups. You're not buying high-end boutique pickups on these guitars. Weight we went over. Let's talk about what it comes with. So, this guitar for $119.99 does ship with a gig bag. This is the bag you get. It's a smaller gig bag. It's Donner's basic gig bag. It's a little bit more than a dust cover. It's made of cloth. Has virtually no padding inside. It's cheap, but it does ship with a gig bag. The gig bag on the DST-200 is far better. It's not noticeably thicker. Might be a little bit thicker, but it's made better. It's bigger. It's a better designed gig bag than this guy. So you're going to get a little bit of an upgraded gig bag with the 400 than you are with this. But again, to me, that's a nit. The strap it ships with. The other one ships with a strap, basic Donner strap. I mentioned the tremolo bar is a snap-in on the 400. This is a screw-in on this 200. And it also comes with this cable, which is the identical cable that the 400 comes with, which is a fairly nice cable. 10-foot. You know, it's not the cheapo disposable cables. This is a usable, functional guitar cable. The 400 shipped in a better box. It shipped more like the traditional Squires do, the higher-end Squires, where you have a box inside a square box. This thing came in that triangular box, single-boxed, inside the gig bag. So it was shipped and packaged better, the 400, than this lower-end model, the 200. What else do we have to talk about? That's really it, guys. So, in summary, what are you losing on here or gaining on the 400 versus this? Really, if you want a 2-point tremolo, you're going to get it with the 400 if you're a tremolo user, and that snap-in tremolo bar. It's debatable whether the pickups are any better, but if they are, that's great, but I really can't see it on these low-end models. The tuners I mentioned. Oh, I didn't mention. These are these vintage style tuners. They're identical to the ones on the 400. So they're the same tuners. These are decent. I mean, if you're a serious player and you're modding it, you're going to upgrade these things to probably lock-in tuners anyway. But these, in terms of functional tuners, they're fine. They don't slip. They don't stick. They hold tune relatively well. They're okay. It has that skunk stripe on the neck. Both necks are matte finish. Both of these have this Donner 4-screw plate with the Donner logo on the back. Color choice, I think, is a little bit better on the 400, like I mentioned. You can get either black or that cypress green, which are nice with the wood bleed through it, the transparent wood. This comes only in black or shell pink. Kind of boring colors, in my opinion. Matching headstock might be nice, but that's it. Yeah, I mean, so what else? So I talked about the bridge. I talked about the wood being alder on the 400, this being poplar. Again, I think it's a nit. The nut, I think both nuts are plastic. You know, that's what the best I can see. These are plastic nuts on both guitars. Frets might be a little bit smaller on here than on the 400. These are definitely not medium jumbo in my opinion. The fret ends were comparable. These are not rolled, but they're not really sharp. A couple of them, as you get higher on the guitar, on both models, are on the cusp of being a little bit sharp, but you can address that real easily with a buffing sponge. But yeah, the finishing is the same. The action is fine on this guitar out of the box. It's not high. Very comparable to what the 400 came, how it came set up. Yeah, that's it, guys. That's it. If you're looking to save money and you're a hobbyist, home player, just needing an extra guitar to throw on a stand, or a knucklehead like me that's just curious, I would buy this over the 400. If you want something that's a tad bit better maybe, and I don't even know if you're going to notice it as a hobbyist or someone learning, you might want to go with the 400 model. But again, right now for $119.99, if you're just looking for an HSS configured Stratocaster with a coil split, this is the way to go in terms of saving dough. Okay? Any questions? Fire them below. If you like these videos, please subscribe. Have a great weekend. And as always, guys, until the next time, be well and stay safe. Take care.